and welcome to Bird News and Views. I'm your host, Don Burgess, and with me tonight, it was just included in the prestigious Forbes 30 Under 30 list, and she's a talented recording artist and social media influencer with more than 3 million followers. Welcome, Kaelyn Kastle.
Hey, how are you? Nice to be here.
Yeah. So, Kaelyn, last week, yourself and two of your collab crib housemates were picked for the Forbes top 30 social influencers under the age of 30 in North America. Did you know this honor was coming?
I had a feel. Okay, so they had reached out, and I knew I was being considered as, one of the 30. And it kind of took me off guard because they hadn't said anything after I had filled out, like, they had asked, like, sent over a questionnaire for us to fill out. And it felt like a test, mostly because we had to answer so many questions about like how we run our business and, just like the economics of where we stand in the industry. And pretty much, literally, they dropped it last week. But I had filled out that form maybe in September or late August. So I didn't know if I was going to make the list or not. And I made it.
Yeah, I guess like the wait between September and December was a little bit long, and you almost want to think about like they forgot about it in the meantime. But what does it mean to you to be selected for it?
It means everything because I've always looked at the list. I've been watching the list for like the last couple of years, trying to figure out like how do I even get on something like this? And literally they reached out to me. So I was like, oh wow. And then to see that two other collab crib members were also considered, it was just like, okay, we're on the right track as far as our business. And just being a part of the economic change in the social media environment. um yeah, it was a huge accomplishment for me.
Yeah. Did you know that they were up for it as well?
Yes, we all knew. We knew that we had all been selected as to be considered for the list, and three of us made it. So it was super cool.
Oh, okay. Now, do you prefer being called a social influencer, or a creative? What label do you stick on yourself, or something else?
I prefer to be called a creator.
Okay, creator, and why that?
Mostly because as a social media influencer, I feel like it's very vague to whereas I create all of my content. I curate it, I moderate it, I come up with the ideas. Like the team begins with me when it comes to like all of my content or whatever I post, whether it comes to music. I feel like a creator gives you such a more of a broad or horizon rather than saying she's an influencer. I feel like an influencer is somebody that just posts to make money. I post in order to, communicate with my fan base.
Okay, which you have 3 million of, all across the various mediums. For those people who may not know what Collab Crib is and what that does, can you explain that?
Okay, so Collab Crib is the first Black creator house in North America. And we pretty much are a whole bunch of influencers with a large amount of following. And we banded together in order to, increase our visibility and in order to, I would say, fight against like the injustices when it came to being an influencer as a Black influencer. Because, it's been difficult.
Yeah, because I saw last year, or was it earlier this year, you guys had sort of organized a bit of a protest or been taking part in a protest because of the way the algorithm was working against what you were posting.
Yeah, so we didn't actually organize it. It was organized by another creator on TikTok, mostly because it was being seen that Caucasian influencers and creators were taking credit for a lot of the work that we done, as well as, when entering a creative space like social media, we were finding that our content was being suppressed. And suppression of content leads to lower numbers, and lower numbers leads to substantially lower pay. And it just wasn't right, especially since my manager, Keith Dorsey, he owns one of the largest Black owned management companies in Northern America. And it was just shocking because he also has some Caucasian creators on his roster, and we were being put up for the same brand deals and being paid substantially less with the same numbers
Right.
sometimes.
It sort of reminded me, and I was subbing for one of your favorite teachers, Mr. Batamosi,
Mhm.
last year, and there was we had a unit that we did talking about white singers in the 50s and early 60s who were taking Black songs and singing them and making more money of it. Do you relate to that? Do you think that's similar?
I definitely relate to that. I actually did a panel on that with Good Morning America, I believe. I believe it's going to air within like the next month or so. But yeah, my manager and I did a panel on it, and yeah, it's completely hand in hand what's happening over and over. I recall after doing my research on that situation, that's when they formed the organization in order for Black performers to get their rights when it comes to performing. So hopefully in the social media realm, something like that can be formed, because right
Mm.
now there's no organization, nor is there like a union in order for us to fight against it. It's usually just us speaking up and trying to get our audience's attention in order to move something forward.
Did that happen to you personally, or anybody in your house, or anybody that you know in particular?
It's happened to me a ton of times. We actually have a TikTok creator in our house named Kulaz O'Neill, and Neil, he actually creates a lot of the TikTok dances that have gone viral, and he seems to never get his credit for it. The top TikTokers do his dances, and they've admitted to doing them as well. And welcome to the creator world.
Well, I know, like they've said, like you can't patent a dance. I mean, there's been rulings about that. But what's your feelings on that?
So there actually has been a dance patent on. There's this girl named Kiki on TikTok. They just patented her dance that she had did to Meg Thee Stallion, but apparently there's like it has to be a certain amount of moves and technicality in order to patent it. But she's actually one of the first. They patented her dance and somebody else's. But I know Kiki personally. That's why.
So progress is being made, hopefully.
Progress is being made slowly but surely.
Now, what's it like having a film crew in the house that you're living in, and how do you deal with privacy?
Okay, so when we were filming the show, we had a crew of 27, and it was horrible. It was definitely an adjustment for me, mostly because I like my space, and I like to decide when I get to speak to my audience, what I get to look like when I'm speaking to my audience, when I want to put the camera down. But during that whole experience, it was kind of just like, they dictate what they want, when they want it. So it was interesting. Privacy isn't really a thing, but
Was there any particular moment that you forgot that the crew was there and then said, "Oh, I have to"?
always. I mean, after week 1, you kind of forget they're there. So you kind of just move like you normally move. You try to really, I guess, adjust, but
Be as normal as you possibly can be?
yeah, be as normal as you possibly can.
Okay. We are going to take a 30-second break here, and we'll be right back with Kaelyn Kastle. And when we come back, we're going to ask you a little bit about your music.
Perfect.
Did you know that in 2020, an average of 42 bikes were stolen each month, and that the majority of these bikes were locked? At the City of Hamilton, we want to help you to safeguard your property. We recommend that you purchase a secondary lock, such as a disc lock or throttle lock, or attach an alarm or tracking device to further protect your bike from theft. Always ask yourself these questions before you walk away from your bike. Have you got your keys? Have you locked your bike? And if at night, have you parked in a well-lit area? To report a stolen bike, call the Bermuda Police Service at 295-0011. Help us to keep our city streets and car parks safe from thieves.
Hamilton, Bermuda at its best.
Oh, welcome back. We're here with Kaelyn Kastle, who was selected as Forbes 30 under 30 social media influencers. And Kaelyn, for you, what came first, the music or social media?
The music. Honestly, I feel like I would not be in social media if it wasn't for the music. It kind of took off from me singing on social media, and I've just been keeping consistent with it ever since.
Okay. So how do you feel that the two sort of naturally blend together, at least on the TikTok platform?
It blends perfectly for me. Most of my content consists of me singing or dancing to my own music. So it kind of just worked. And I feel like, it just gave people a different perspective of like something, to love me for or learn about me, or, it just gives them, it makes people feel as if they can communicate to me through whatever I've got going on when it comes to like the music or singing. So it's just been cool.
Okay. Now, how did you get your start musically?
I actually started at Bermuda Institute, but before that, I've been singing forever. Like my grandmother, she says that I've been singing since her nursery, and I've always wanted to be on stage, which I do remember that. Then I went to Bermuda Institute, and Owen Simons was a huge part of my instrumental career there. Then I worked with Daniel Hill. And then I met Mr. Ben Mosey. He helped me learn how to perform on stage. Just the whole music scene in Bermuda. Like, I know it's not much there sometimes, but I just utilized everything that I had in order to be my best.
How would you describe your sound, and how do you think it's evolved over the last 5 or 6 years?
I would describe my sound as that's an interesting question.
Okay.
My sound is, I would say, unique. I feel like most people use that word, but I feel like I have a very unique tone. I've heard that a lot in the industry. And it's definitely developed mostly because it took me a little bit of time to understand how to involve my culture in the music. Being from Bermuda, we like to listen to everything. So I feel like coming out here and trying to getting into the music game and working with well-known producers and everybody, it was just like, they were like, okay, we need to hone in on what is you. So I feel like I'm creating a song that can definitely be carried on from many more artists that's coming from Bermuda, not just myself.
Yeah, there's a lot of us who are very talented in the music field. Like when I say us, I don't mean me, because you wouldn't want me to sing, but there's a lot of people that I enjoy listening to. Last month you dropped "Sunsets Suck,"
Definitely.
and what was that song about, and how have you been using your platforms to help push it?
Okay, yeah. So that song is dear to my heart. That song is actually about a past relationship that I was in. And it was just like, because even when I perform this song, I always give this speech where, it has like a little music breakdown where it's a guitar solo, and I always give the same speech every time I perform it. And I say, it sucks because sometimes people that you love can really hate things, make you hate things that are beautiful. And my relationship kind of really made me feel that way about a lot of things that I used to really love. So yeah. And then what was the second question?
Well, how successful has it been so far?
Oh, so far it's been really successful. I've actually picked up a few brand deals because of the record. I wasn't expecting that. But yeah, it's opened up a lot of new doors and partnerships with me. I partnered with Dallas Austin Distribution in order to distribute the record. And yeah, the record, it's just doing what it needs to do as like right now. I feel like people are excited to see what else I have coming, because this was my first record drop in a year since the pandemic and since COVID hit. So yeah, I'm excited.
I'm going to encourage everyone to go watch it when we're finished here. But the song, I guess the ending of it, and I don't want to spoil the ending, but is a metaphor for how that relationship is.
Yes, definitely.
Now, as I spoke to you this morning, but I said like that song's just sort of been stuck in my head, which is good for you because the lyrics are and the music is just so good. But would you mind singing a little bit of it?
Sure, I'll sing for you. So it goes, sunsets always felt like a small check on a payday, forcing things to stay the same. This is my life. Always got my hopes up, waiting for a color change.
Beautiful.
Thank
Well,
you.
yeah, I can see you're going to be breaking so many hearts of guys who listening to that song, and they're going to be go, like that. Now, we mentioned earlier you had 3 million followers, and we have some graphics to show the audience here, but 2.5 million on million followers on TikTok and 30.5 million likes at this moment. 2.5 million, we should say plus, because after they start rounding up the numbers. You have also you have 340,000 on Instagram. You've got 116,000 on Facebook, 24,000 on YouTube, and then 20,000 on Twitter. And then we add that all up, it's 3 million plus. So very successful. For you, when you dropped your first video on TikTok, how successful was it?
My first video was actually quite successful. Before I actually had used the app, I had been scrolling a little bit to see, like, okay, what's the vibes like over here? Because a lot of other people that were on social media, or that, the main platform at the time, main platforms were Facebook and Instagram. And a lot of people were apprehensive about it. They thought it was for kids. And I always describe the app as Disney Channel, and I've always wanted to be on Disney Channel, like growing up. So I jumped on the app, posted the video of me singing. I had tested things out a little bit just to see if it would work or not. But my first video went crazy. I was like, okay, I'm a little bit comfortable over here. Let's see. And within my first week on TikTok, I had 100,000 followers. So it was wild.
Yeah. Now, how did that compare to Instagram? Because Instagram was the big one until then.
Instagram is a lot harder. The algorithm is not built for you to grow over there. So it's like I feel like it's a little bit more difficult to build a following over there on Instagram, mostly because you really have to work hard. You really have to collaborate. You really have to, just make yourself known on the app. But it is what it is.
Now, I think it might have been the third video that you dropped on TikTok was the one with your dad at the airport, and
Yeah.
then there was a lot of negative comments.
They were like, who is this guy? Why is this guy standing there? People didn't know it was my dad. Now they know, but it was my first. I was new to the app. So, just like joining any app, people, like, your audience needs to get to know you. But yeah, it worked. My video went viral. My dad was part of it.
Yeah, and you made your dad a social media star at the same time.
Yeah, they love him on TikTok. They love him over there.
Do you ever worry about? I know you're very good about making sure you protect your own privacy. Does the same thing happen for your friends and family when you go and post them? You're not just randomly getting them in the background and putting them up there.
Yeah, I never randomly post anybody. I try to always make sure that people are aware what's going on as far as social media, like especially friends and family. So usually everyone wants to be in the videos. That is never really an issue. But yeah, my family and friends, they love being a part of whatever I allow them to be a part of. Or, it's the vibes. The vibes are always fun over here.
Now, if somebody wants to be a successful media influencer or creative, what advice would you have for them if they're just getting started out?
My advice is figure out what works for you. And I say this because the same thing that works for me isn't going to work for the next person. You're your own brand. And I feel like a lot of people get on the apps and try to mimic what they see. And I tell people all the time, like, yes, I go on the apps and I study other people, but I don't study other people to the extent whereas I'm gonna like copy what they're doing. You have to see what's popular and understand why it's popular, and then just throw your own little twist to it and be consistent. Consistency is really the biggest key. So if you have 100 views today, it could be 100,000 views tomorrow. So don't be discouraged.
When you talk about being your own brand, how conscientious are you being in such the public eye of what you do and where you are and what's happening around you?
I'm completely conscious. Everything going on as far as my brand, I've already assessed and studied it. So when it comes to like anything I post, and I try to remind people this, whenever it's posted, if you're seeing it, it's because I want you to see it. And yeah, I'm completely conscientious of whatever's going on my page because I understand my brand and my audience, and that's what's important.
Right. Now, I asked you this earlier today, but for our audience, how important was Lil Nas X doing what he did to really set things off for creatives on TikTok?
Okay, so yeah, Little Nas X, love Little Nas. Like I told you earlier, I have had the courtesy of going to his party when he was in Atlanta. And Little Nas is just next level. Even like everything he does is completely intentional. There's no such thing. So in the PR world, they say there's no such thing as bad publicity. And Little Nas understands how oversaturated the industry is. So if there's something that he's doing, people are going to talk about it today, but they're going to forget about it tomorrow. The thing about Little Nas is he keeps everything interesting. Whether you like it, don't like it, feel uncomfortable, he makes you feel. And that's what people forget about social media. Things go viral because you feel something. It's marketing. It's basic marketing, marketing 101. You have to appeal to your audience's emotions in order to sell.
Right. So. Now, a lot of people may not understand this, but what you're doing is your job. And
yes,
so
very much my job.
So how do you go about making money off of posting on social media?
Okay, so there's a bunch of different ways when it comes to socials. You can make money from brand deals, sponsorships, endorsements. They all kind of fall within the same category. Not all the same thing, but can definitely fall within the same category. And then you can monetize off of each platform. So each platform that I'm on, every view, every impression, every click counts as a payment. It all equals money at the end of the day. So yeah.
So if I were to encourage somebody after the show's finished to go listen to one of your songs, which platform should they go and watch it on?
Right now, I'm completely pushing Spotify because apparently I have a big Apple Music following, but I use Apple Music as well. So I mean, I also have Spotify, but so go listen to my song on Spotify. You can find it under my name. But yeah, that's where I'm encouraging people. Pardon?
Do you just have one song or do you have more than one?
I have more than one. So I actually did a collaboration with Noise Cans, who's also a Bermudian artist. We released that in, I think it was June or July of this year. So it's Noise Cans and I did a collaboration. And then I just did a record with Conscience featuring myself called Cold Hearted Girl. And then I have some other records, my 2 other singles, Not Yours and Too Pretty.
Okay. So we can just put it on loop and it'll do you a favor.
Yeah, you could, just listen to my music. That will help.
Okay. I'm not going to get too much into your business as to like how much money you're making things, but obviously you're doing well enough that you have people that work for you. So
yes.
It's not just by yourself. So how many people, maybe not dependent upon you for a paycheck, but are in your employ because you need various things to take care of, be taken care of?
Okay, so right now I have a team of 7, and everybody is great. My right hand is Adore Lotus. So his name is Elijah Brown. He does everything for me from graphics to, assistant work, coordinating with brands. So usually when people reach out, he's my first point of contact from my team. Then there's my manager, Keith Dorsey, my other manager, Jerry Vines, my PR, Deanna, my other PR, Brandy. I have a big team over here now. But it's pretty cool. It's running like a business.
Yes. Now, which position did you hire first? So, like, if somebody was trying to at least have an idea of what's going to happen, which person would help somebody who is interested in being in the social media space the most?
My manager, Keith, was the first person that actually Jerry jumped on board for the music first, because the music is what helped the social media take off. And then it was Keith, and then it was Elijah. Elijah helps me run everything.
Yeah.
He keeps this ship going.
Now, we're not talking big numbers here, but at least to start seeing some sort of pay coming through, what sort of numbers do you need to have on each of the various platforms just to see it, just to see some income?
To see, you can start as small as having 10K, like being a micro influencer. And the brand deals aren't like, the payment isn't huge, but it's something to get you started. And as you grow, your brands grow. So every time my numbers change, everything changes. Or every time publicity changes, everything changes. Numbers change as well.
Yeah. So what was the last big number that you hit that made a difference for you?
Wherever I'm at right now.
2.5 million.
Yeah.
All right. So Smile, do they have, I know like in the record industry, they have gold records and they have the same sort of thing for social media.
They do on YouTube. I know YouTube actually does like recognition stuff. But everywhere else, no.
No. Okay.
Those apps don't care.
Our 30 minutes is drawing to an end. And I know you have an engagement to go to, but I'm going to give you a chance to say whatever it is that you want to say to the people of Bermuda and everyone else who's listening in around the globe.
I just want to say I'm blessed to be where I'm at. I'm blessed to gain more support from Bermuda, because I love Bermuda. Any chance I get, I come home. And yeah, when I am home this time around, I am going to be doing a meet and greet for 30 kids, and the flyer should be dropping this week. So, I always love to meet kids. I do it a lot out here. So I was like, why not do a meet and greet when I'm home? And yeah.
All right. So our young people out there can wait with bated breath for that info to drop, and then they can get in line and hopefully be one of the 30 that take part.
Okay. Yeah.
Kaelyn, I appreciate you so much. Thank you for being here tonight and just sharing a little bit more of your public life with us. And I hope you enjoy your party tonight.
I will. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you. On behalf of Bird News, we were here with Kaelyn Kastle, social media superstar and Forbes top 30 influencers under the age of 30. I've been your host, Don Burgess, and as always, have a beautiful evening.